Welcome back to art class. We're going to be finishing up our torn paper Cookie Monster today, and in order to do that we do need a few items. We're going to need your torn paper, face, the head part here. You are going to need two circles. One that's kind of small. I'll use this one for the googly eye look that the Cookie Monster has, and then this one's kind of perfect. It's got a larger end for the actual cookie. We're going to need a slightly smaller stencil than your original piece here because it's going to be used to create the mouth. You're going to need a pencil. You're going to need two colored crayons. You need a brown and a black. You're going to need a pair of scissors. You're going to need some glue. You may want an eraser, but if you draw everything right, then you won't need it right away. Okay, so I'm going to move some stuff off to the side. Oh, and you will need, one more piece of paper. So let's start off dealing with this piece of paper. I'm going to put Cookie Monster's head over here for a minute. Okay, right here. And what I'm going to do is fold it in half. Alright, one half we're going to use right away, the other half we'll use in just a minute. Okay, the first part I want to do is the mouth. Okay, so that's where this big stencil comes in. And I'm only going to put half of the circle on the paper, like this. Then I'm going to trace it. Like so. The next part is pretty easy. You're going to need a black crayon, and you're going to need to color in the mouth. So I'm going to outline it first, then I'm going to fill it in. Okay, this other piece over here we'll use in a minute. We're going to deal with this first. This is going to be our mouth. So the next step is to cut it out. Take your time and stay on the line. Like that. Don't lose this piece, you're going to need it. Alright, real quick, let's go ahead and take care of this piece. Now, obviously, putting the mouth at the top really doesn't make a lot of sense. And we don't want our mouth going sideways. That doesn't make a lot of sense either. So we're going to put the mouth close to the bottom, but we're going to leave a little bit of blue showing. And Cookie Monster has a really big mouth because he likes to eat a lot of cookies. So on the back here, I'm going to be putting 5 dots of glue. Notice I don't put them right next to the edge. I leave a little bit of space. 3 across the top, big mouth, top, and then 2 at the bottom there. That way, it glues down well without lots of stuff in there. So remember, I use a dot, dot, not a lot. I'm going to hold this down, 2 hands because it's big, and I'm going to count to 10 because it's a really big piece. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. There we go, there's it. And notice I left some blue showing. Okay. Next, we need to do his eyes. So what we're going to do first is that fold that's right there in the middle that we did, I am going to go ahead and cut on that because I want to get rid of the scrap. That way, it's out of the way. Next, I'm going to cut. Well, first I'm going to actually take my small circle, and it's going to be the eyes. So you might want to test your piece and look and see if it'll work for the eyes. So this one works pretty good, and it's just the bottom of a cup. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and trace it. So moms and dad, you may want to help hold the stencil down, but make sure your student is the one tracing. Okay, now we want it really close to this corner. Don't put it in the middle, and I'll explain why in just a second. Okay, so we want to have lots of space. In fact, we want enough space that we could probably get a second one there. Okay, now, one of the tricks with doing eyes is making sure they're exactly the same. We don't want one being big and one being small. That would look kind of weird. So there's a trick that we can do. What we're going to do is, now that I have one traced here, I'm going to cut the paper underneath it like this, all the way across. Save this piece, we need that. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the paper behind like this. Okay, so you got a piece like this. It's almost like a little book. Now, what's really neat is if you can hold this closed as you cut. That's the big trick, is you got to hold it together. Don't let it separate. Okay. And what's going to happen here, let me show you. We're going to cut very carefully, taking my time, staying on the line. Now notice I'm very carefully keeping all the pieces together. I don't let it open up at all. Okay, there's my scrap. Put that off to the side. Now notice it looks like I only have one, but because I folded it and I kept them together as I folded it, now I have two. Okay, so let's go ahead and take care of these eyes now that I have two. I'm going to use the black again, and I'm going to draw a big circle inside, and I'm going to color it. This would be his pupil and iris. His Cookie Monster's had his is both, actually. And I need to have a matching one over here, so I'm going to draw another big circle. I'm going to fill that in. Like that. Now I have two like big googly eyes. Then I need to glue them down. Now Cookie Monster's eyes actually stick off his head a little bit. They're not right here. They actually stick off his head a little bit. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put a couple of dots of glue, 3 dots of glue. I'm going to put one on the side, and actually this would be the bottom right here. So like there's 3 dots. Remember, dot, dot, not a lot. And then I'm going to put his eye like this, so it goes past his head just a little bit. I'm going to hold it down and count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, so I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 dots. Okay, then I'm going to put it down the other side, and I'm going to hold it down and count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if you notice, I didn't put any glue at the top here because I was afraid that glue would seep out on, and we don't want to glue it to a table. That would not look good. Not good at all. Okay, we have Cookie Monster pretty much done, but it's not really Cookie Monster without a cookie. So I'm going to have to make a cookie for him. So that's why we needed the big circle. We're going to go like this, and I'm going to trace it. So again, moms and dads, it might be helpful if you help hold it down for them while they trace. Okay, next we need the brown. Because remember, a nice chocolate chip cookie would be lightly done with brown. They're usually a golden brown. So I'm going to go ahead and carefully outline this. And if you notice, I do most of my coloring before I actually cut. And that's because it's a little bit easier to hold the paper if it's a bigger piece. All right, now I can fill this in. Make sure I didn't leave any white spaces. Then I'm going to add some black chocolate chips to it. I like to use squares because they're easy to draw and color in. They're chocolate chips. And they kind of go wherever you want them to. Maybe make a small one here and there too. I'm going to make a small ones. I like lots of chips in mine. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is we need to cut it out. So again, you're going to be another take your time, stay on the line. Now, if you want to change your cookie a little bit, maybe make it a different kind of cookie, that's fine. You can make those adjustments. I just do a chocolate chip because that's one's pretty easy for everybody to draw, and everybody knows what it is when you look at it. Okay, so we got our cookie. Now, obviously, that doesn't make a lot of sense to put it right there in the middle of his face. We want it to be somewhere like it's going to go in his mouth. So we're going to put it right down here by the side. And we're going to put 5 dots of glue on this, actually, because it's kind of a big circle. So I'm going to put 1 here, 2 here, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the 5th one's right in the middle. And remember again, dot, dot, not a lot. I'm going to put it right in his mouth. I'm going to hold it down, count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we're going to look at him. It looks pretty well done. One thing that some people will wonder is like, well, how come Mr. Sanders did we not put a nose in the middle? Well, believe it or not, Cookie Monster, if you look at him, doesn't actually have a nose. So we don't need to put one in. So that we are actually now complete with this. If you could, please take a picture of your project and send it to me through the app. Thank you. You guys have a good weekend, and I will see you next week.